starting this match off.
Connection issue, yeah. Oh. Welcome back, folks. Sorry about that brief connection issue. The PSU NYU game has started, but you haven't missed any action yet. All of our robots on both teams still online. No one's been killed yet. Oh, but we're getting this nice view. Look at a beautiful standard shot here from our red team as they're playing around this barricade. Excellent hits coming across from standard 4 on the red side. Great accuracy. You'll remember that these robots do level up, so here at the beginning of the matches, they do have to fire at a slower rate, and so it is a little bit more semi-automatic than what we were seeing at the end of our last match.
We are getting pelted with balls from the shots.
Some shots coming across.
That is the perfect angle to hit us straight in the face. Oh, here comes another one.
PSU doing a great job, though, of doing exactly what they need to and pushing NYU Poly and getting some early damage down onto their sentry to try to level out that 3v2 playing field that has come across because of their lack of a sentry on the red side.
Blue Standard 3 getting knocked offline by Red Standard 4. That is going to put them in a very favorable spot to keep pushing this base like they are, getting a bunch of damage
Red
on
Standard
that
4
sentry.
continuing to take shots at the sentry, absolutely during our RMUL NA competition.
But this has been a world of firsts today, so I would not be surprised if this is the first time we see that action happening.
Standard 4 on the red team, extremely confident, is just sitting in their base. Every time these blue robots come back online, he just spins around and takes them right back out. A great job from PSU, and especially from that pilot, to understand his position and his capabilities and be able to maximize that to be able to deal damage to the blue sentry.
Absolutely. Red Standard 3 coming into position as well, getting into that attack formation, be able to push that blue base, being able to take out that sentry, hopefully, because that is what they have to do with 2 minutes 40 seconds
Red Standard
left.
4 and Blue Hero 1 eyeing each other down. They both only have this tiny amount of health back. Oh, and Blue Hero 1 from the blue team takes out that Red Standard 4, pushing him off of the base. This is a great defensive move from
NYU Poly.
NYU Poly, thank you, sorry. From NYU Poly, great defensive move from them, able to keep this Red Standard from dealing more damage to that sentry. There is a self-revival thing, and during his shielded portion, the Standard from PSU was able to take out that blue hero, and now they're standing here just kind of killing each other back and forth. We'll see who can get the upper hand and if they have time to run away once they revive.
If Red Standard 3 can go and help his teammate that is getting surrounded in the enemy base, that would probably be the best course of action. And what they've got to do with these 2 minutes remaining, looks like Red Standard 4 is going to get out while he's invincible. He's going to make it all the way around, back repositioning to be able to attack that Blue Hero 1.
If your stream is still down in the chat, I see a couple people saying that. Hit the refresh button. I believe we are back up as we're watching a copy of our stream here, and it is live.
That's another
Excellent
kill coming
match
across for the red.
This
for
is
the blue
exactly
team.
the kind of match we want to see from these first-year teams. Their robots are functioning, their firing rate is accurate, they're doing an exceptional job. Great job from PSU to push this sentry. Great job from NYU Poly playing a lot of that defense. They understand all they really need to do here is be able to help their sentry survive to take that early dub.
Absolutely, and seeing that death play out, as soon as you die in an unfavorable spot, it is really hard to get out, but it looks like Red Standard 4 is absolutely dumped.
Look at the firing rate coming out of that Red Standard 4. That's what I was talking about earlier. When I predicted a PSU victory, that is the firing rate that moved me to do so. Absolutely incredible. We love to see it.
I do believe that death was related to barrel heat, so they do have to rein that in just a little bit, but being able to unleash that whenever they want to is going to be devastating if they're able to hit that sentry in this round with the 45 seconds left.
Great job from our teams here. We've got a lot of dead robots still on the field. Looks like Red Standard 4 just survived. We're waiting for Blue Hero 1 to finish reviving, and then that action will continue right again. All right, Red Standard 4 is back up. He's back here for the sentry. Very focused. I'm so happy that this new team understands exactly what they need to be doing. They're standing directly underneath the sentry, which is an interesting vantage point, but wow! Such a cool shot there from the camera. That's that firing rate, Matt. It doesn't matter if your barrel overheats. If you can get 50 shots out first, that damage will still come across.
Absolutely.
Wow. Great job, PSU. Great job, NYU Poly. The game is coming to a close, and this game will go over to NYU Poly, I believe, as their sentry is still up.
Great strategy, though,
excellent.
coming out from the red team, being able to push that, understanding that they do not have a sentry, that they need to take out the blue sentry to be able to win this match, because it is all based around that structured damage, and that is going to be something that they're probably going to have to pursue, maybe just with a little bit more pushing, coordinating, and making sure that they're pushing favorable engagements and not dying and having that tiny little sliver of health that you come back with. Agreed.
All right. So for those of you who maybe missed a bit of that match due to our stream connection issues, a bit of a recap for you. NYU Poly did an excellent job defending their sentry. Because they fielded a sentry and the other team did not, one of their easier win conditions is defense. If they can just keep their sentry alive, they will take the W, which is what happened during this match. On the other side of the field, PSU has to push. They have to get a full kill onto that sentry on the other team without sustaining any base damage to have that first or earliest win condition. And so both teams really focused on those win conditions, which we love to see. You can tell they've put a lot of thought and time into those strategies, not focusing just on kills or damage, not greeting, for those KDA stats for your individual players, but playing as a team. Really thumbs up and hats off to both of these teams. PSU, great job getting in there, dealing some damage to the sentry, and I'm sure that in the next few hours they'll be able to dial in that accuracy a little bit more. Some people in the chat saying it was a little unfortunate that the accuracy wasn't quite as high from the red team onto that blue sentry, but if they can get that dialed in, I think they fired enough shots to have that sentry taken all the way down.
Absolutely. All right, and we got to share some love for our fans in China who are watching us live once again. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, we
love
really
having
do
you guys.
appreciate it.
We love doing RoboMaster. We love commentating. We love being here. We love this competition. And man,
my 2 weeks in Shenzhen are probably my favorite part of my RoboMasters experience so far. Absolutely have loved my time there. Super excited that we're starting to have competitions here as well. But definitely looking forward to next year when hopefully we can do both. I would love to have a regionals here in North America, and then still get to take a trip over to China, spend some more time there, continuing to really enjoy the culture and the people, and obviously the insane RoboMasters competition. Yes. All right, so our next match will begin super quick, as I don't think any of those robots had technical issues, which really is the biggest shout out. We'll take a second and just
first-year teams. That's
great
amazing.
job. Absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
Both teams made it an entire match, none of their robots falling apart or having any technical issues, so we'll be able to dive straight into our second match.
Let's see if PSU is able to shake it up and be able to push with a new strategy that is hopefully going to win them this next one and take out that sentry.
All right, so here we're watching PSU. They've got both of their standards, Standard 3 and Standard 4, one from each of the two schools that are participating on this joint team. Some long shots being taken coming out from NYU Poly towards those PSU players. That's a difficult shot to hit, but they're taking them. A bit of a standard engagement here. It's a really nice shot from our cameraman of all of the standards from both teams. Great shots coming across. Some early trades being taken. You can see that the health on one of our NYU Poly robots is falling extremely low, I believe on the Hero robot. Again, the damage coming across from PSU Standard 4. Great job.
PSU Standard 4 being the real MVP of this match, and hopefully he's going to be able to do a ton more damage to the other robots and be able to get that double kill and then also start working on that sentry, because we know he's got that fire rate.
Chief Radica telling us in the chat that the sentry damage in the last round was 520. They've only got to get that damage a little bit higher to take that sentry all the way out and level that field or that win condition for PSU. We'll see if they're able to do that or if NYU will be successful in stopping them from dealing quite as much damage this round.
All NYU's got to do is just maintain that defense and maintain the fact that they are in a strong position with that sentry to be able to sit back and force the fight to come to them.
Red Standard 4 and Blue Standard 3 having a bit of an engagement over by the blue base. Meanwhile, over here by the red base, what we're looking at, oh my goodness, both corners having a separate 1v1s. Right now we're watching Blue Hero 1 and Red Standard 3 get into an engagement. On the other side of the field, Red Standard 4 was successful in taking up Blue Standard 3. What an interesting split map strategy. We haven't seen this come out, as most of our teams have stuck together during the games. Barrel heat, I believe, was the cause of death for Red Standard 4 as he was trying to deal more damage to that blue sentry, but he's back up and is continued firing at the sentry.
Looks like that barrel heat killed him once again. He's going to have to slow down if he's going to be able to do that. Having that power play of taking out both the blue robots that are now online and probably going to be pushing as they're going to be trying to defend that base, which is an unfavorable engagement for that red standard 4. But it looks like the blue standard 1 is not going to be going over there to try to help his teammate. But red standard 4 is going to die once again to barrel heat. He's really got to start tuning that in.
Both of these teams keeping these 2 corners. So currently watching Blue Hero 1 and Red Standard 3 on the red side of the field in a small engagement, while Red Standard 4 and Blue Standard 3 are engaged in a very similar fight next to the blue base.
Here's that first-person point of view. This is what the drivers are seeing the entirety of the match.
Blue Hero 1 is actually taking shots at the red base. You can see that they have successfully hit it. This will, Matt. This will make it extremely difficult for PSU to be able to battle back against this strong NYU strategy. Definitely a great decision from NYU. Instead of just turtling, they've decided to play a little bit more aggressively, get some of that damage across on the base. That way, if PSU wants to come back, they not only have to kill the entire sentry, but they have to match and exceed the damage done to the base.
Actually, yes, and that's going to be pretty difficult. Only a minute 40 left in the match. Red Standard 4 has the fire rate to do it, but does he have the control to not burn himself out? That is the real question. Let's see what he does here as he lines up shots on that blue sentry.
PSU has been successful in killing several of these NYU robots, but without a sentry, that won't be enough for the match. We see Red Standard 4, again, still facing off 1v1 versus this blue sentry, is just not finding the accuracy percentage it needs to be able to take the sentry down without overheating.
Also coming back with just a tiny sliver of health leaves you barely any margin of error because that damage from the barrel heat is very high.
Very true. All right, we can see here that Red Standard 3 is standing next to both of our blue robots on the red side of the base. Again, a great showing from both of our teams. PSU able to get a lot of kills over on NYU. NYU doing a great job this game, getting some base damage done, protecting their sentry, or at least having their sentry protect itself through its motion. Just an excellent job from both of our new teams.
Absolutely. Having that moving sentry versus just a stationary sentry that's just kind of like an elevated target is obviously proven to be very good and like a very good win condition whenever you are facing other teams because you can focus a lot more just on defense and let the sentry kind of worry about itself.
That's right. You can see here from the first-person view, you can see exactly what our pilots are seeing. You get that pulsing red low health indicator. You get the barrel heat indicator in the center. All of those things they've got to keep in mind as they come back and forth and fight these robots.
Absolutely. It's very easy to get distracted and let that adrenaline get to you and not be paying a whole lot of attention to that. And that is something that I'm sure you know firsthand being a driver before. We've got 3 seconds left in this match. It's going to be kind of impossible for them to be able to turn that around. And that's going to be a blue victory. Once again, due to that sentry being very much alive and able to move and dodge by itself.
Great job from NYU Poly. Hats off, guys. I really appreciated their strategy switch up. You know, we love our teams. We love how dedicated they are, how honorable they consider and play in these matches. Honestly, NYU Poly probably in that second match, they realized they could have just sat underneath their sentry, played defense, and taken the dub. But instead, they wanted to see what their limits were. They wanted to perform their best as well. And so they came out, they competed, they won some skirmishes, they lost some skirmishes. They dealt a significant amount of damage to the other base. An excellent job from our NYU Poly combined first-year team.
Absolutely, especially having a functioning sentry that's able to move unpredictably on its own. Here's that highlight screen with all the damage coming in for both those rounds.
So far, Matt, I think all of our group stage rounds have gone 2-0. So far, none of our teams that lose that first match have been able to find a strategy change that turns the tide for the second match. We'll see if that continues as a trend or if we can get some of those 1-1 ties in these best of twos.
Absolutely. Switching up that strategy as well. Sometimes you switch that up whenever you go back and you're able to deliberate and not just have, 2 minutes of time to talk with your drivers about different strategies, or have the drivers just talk to each other. I don't even know if they're allowed to communicate with their pit crews and things like that. So that is all just a whole bunch of other minor stuff that you just have to you got to consider. You can't not consider it, and especially for these first year teams that have difficulty doing it. Okay. And so we have got a whole lot of other stuff coming for you, and we've got a ton of other matches today, as well as the semifinals and the finals that I am so hyped for. So hyped.
All right, we got word that our next match is coming in about 10 minutes, guys. Hit that follow button, smash that notifications button. We're going to stay here with you through this very small break as our next group finishes up their inspection. All right. 6. So, Matt, we've seen quite a few of the different teams. Honestly, this chunk has been my favorite of all of the competition days. We started the day with some of our really experienced teams in these group stages, right? We got teams like A&M, like Virginia Tech, like the University of Washington. And then in the middle of our day today, we had teams like UCSD and, again, University of Washington, who have been in the competition about 3 or 4 years, a little bit less than teams like Virginia Tech. And then this last match that we've had right now, we had excellent showings from a lot of our new teams, which is great to see. And really, I'm so excited. It makes me really happy that this is a competition in which all of those teams can have successful matches. Absolutely. Right? It doesn't matter if this is your first year, your third year, your fifth year. You can have a successful match. You can come and be competitive. I hope all of our other NYU colleges or our NA colleges can take this as inspiration and really just start their own RoboMasters University League teams. Absolutely. If you guys want to dive on in, your first year can be really exciting.
We have a lost credit card as well. We would like to talk about that really quick to see if we can find the
Michelle
owner.
Johnson, if you're in person, if you'd come on over to the commentator's desk, that'd be great. Thank you.
But yeah, as you're saying, talking about first-year teams, the only way you're able to get